Hi, my name is Gabe, and in this video I'll be looking into Carrie, the 1970s version. You know, the good one. Right up front, I'll mention that spoilers are ahead. And that includes spoilers for those who've read the book, and also those who've seen the remake or play. The first Carrie film has major differences from these other versions. Differences that make it, in my opinion, the best telling of the story. In this video, I'd like to focus on the power behind that film, what made it so impactful. To me, this is the film's most impressive aspect. So what made the original Carrie so impactful? Other than the obvious, of course, its depiction of bullying and also its scares, the latter of which includes the greatest jump scare in the history of movies. I actually believe the most impactful aspect of Carrie lies underneath all this. Here, at the film's deepest layer, I believe it is sensing into the future. The writers and filmmakers tuned into societal trends and trying to warn us where things were going. Specifically, I believe that even though Carrie was released in 1976, i.e. way before the US school shooting epidemic, the artist behind Carrie sensed it coming. Probably subconsciously, but maybe not. And this story, in both book and movie form, was the result. This may seem crazy, but many works of art have done similar things. Like Network, which foresaw the sensationalist takeover of cable news decades before it actually happened.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Or M, which called out a society in transition, one that eventually transitioned into Nazi Germany. And how about this amazing example? 14 years before the Titanic sunk, a book was published about the world's largest cruise ship, named the Titan and considered unsinkable, hitting an iceberg and sinking in the Atlantic, the majority of the passengers dying due to a lack of lifeboats on board. The book is titled The Wreck of the Titan, and after the Titanic sank, people thought the author was clairvoyant, but he disagreed, simply claiming that he was familiar with the shipbuilding and maritime trends of the day. This phenomenon of art sensing into the future is actually common enough to have its own name, the canary in the coal mine theory of the arts. Coined by Vonnegut, this theory states that the purpose of artists, not entertainers, but artists, is to serve as society's canaries in the coal mine. Specifically, because artists are so sensitive, they are more in tune and better able to tap into society's trends. This means that when bad things are coming, they sense them well before the rest of society has any idea anything negative is happening. To me, Carrie clearly is this. It's not a perfect premonition, since Carrie was a wonderful person before being pushed over the edge, while school shooters almost always have issues from the beginning. But even so, the similarities between Carrie and modern school shootings are uncanny. To begin, let's simply look at the plot. A social outcast ostracized and bullied.
You eat shit.
In a school that either can't stop or exacerbates the bullying.
This isn't over. This isn't over by a long shot.
Said outcast is also abused at home and has access to terrifying destructive power, not literally with guns, but instead in the form of telekinesis. This all builds to our outcast reaching the point where she loses all humanity and desires nothing but revenge, not just against those who wronged her, but against everyone. And the result is a massacre, one eerily similar to school shootings, the only real difference being there aren't any guns. Continuing at the plot level, Carrie's massacre ends with Carrie killing her mother, similar to how school shooters often start by killing their parents. And then the film ends with Carrie being taken by the devil, much in the same way school shooters use suicide to end their evil deeds. Even the scenes that don't play into this main plotline, the B, C, and D stories, if you will, still support the school shooting analogy by showing the cluelessness of the administration,
Beautiful.
the lack of effectiveness or even caring of authority,
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
the innocence of the victims,
I like it. I think it's terrific. Look at that. No ruffles at all.
the trauma of the survivors, and so on. Several of Carrie's motifs play into this analogy as well. For example, the appearance of blood is a huge motif in this story, it occurring only in moments of comfort and peace, much like a school should be. Another motif is religious imagery, with religious extremism dominating Carrie and also being a common motivator in mass shootings. And then there's the camera work, split diopter lenses, voyeuristic and even chauvinistic shots, Dutch angles, all of which not only emphasize Carrie's ostracism, but also build to this famous shot, one that foreshadows the out-of-control nature of what is to come. Of course, it is possible that these similarities are coincidental, that Carrie has nothing to do with school shootings and wasn't made from an even subconscious connection to where society was going. But when you consider that King's fourth novel, released 3 years after Carrie, was literally about a school shooting.
It was a novel about a kid who goes to school one day and shoots his algebra teacher and holds his class hostage with a gun. And he's got this whole backstory about his abusive father and a lot of teenage angst and a lot of problems.
And that he has done similar things in other works.
You gotta stay in better shape than this country. What the hell is happening to this country? Can anybody tell me what the hell is going on? Look at here. I read in one of your local papers right here on the front
Believe this
page.
guy?
You got some old people.
He's just getting warmed up.
who are eating dog food 'cause they couldn't afford
You vote for him, John?
anything else. Shame on America!
I personally find the evidence for Carrie's connection to society to be overwhelming. Finally, there is one aspect of Carrie I haven't mentioned yet, even though it is actually the most important aspect outside Carrie herself. Sue. For Sue is the artist within this world. She's the one who sensed something wrong and tried to do something, putting herself out there to make the world better for others, Carrie in particular. She's also the one no one but her boyfriend listened to. And as a result, tragedy happened. Tragedy that could have been prevented had people listened to Sue, understood what she was doing.
Just don't try.
Fine. I won't try.
Wait a second, it's not fine.
Listened instead of suspecting ulterior motives or dismissing her as crazy. For in doing so, they ignored the canary in the coal mine of their society, and the result was not pretty. And so, in the end, what we should take away from Carrie is simple. Of course, there's the whole don't bully aspect, the importance of accepting others and not abusing or ostracizing. But more powerful than this is the idea that we should listen to artists, to understand what they are aware of that the rest of society isn't. Society needs to listen to artists, whether they be Sue, Stephen King, or anyone else in tune with the world and with something to say.
Soon, all we will have is each other, and that could be enough. If you will let us have room enough, and air enough, and peace enough to love each other as you never could.
It's beautiful.
We can listen, or we can be Chris, or Norma, or Mr. Fromm and Principal Morton, or even Miss Collins, who despite being a protagonist was too focused on herself to understand what Sue was doing.
It's beautiful hair. You could just put it up a little, maybe add a little curl. What do you think? Yeah.
We can be like these people, or we can be better. We can listen and understand, become aware of what's really going on in our society. And if we do, maybe we can prevent the next tragedy from happening. Because if we don't, we definitely will be massacred, as shown in Carrie.